Hello and welcome to You've Seen It Before, movie reviews, connections to mind, and welcome back to another installment of I've Never Seen It Before. As the name implies, this is a series of videos where I I watch a movie that I've been meaning to see for some time, whether it be a new release that I had let pass me by or an older release that I've been meaning to see for several years but just never got around to it. I watch the movie and give my thoughts on the film, whether just my brief reaction to it right after I see it, as well as some brief thoughts on certain plot developments and character arcs that may seem familiar to you and where you may have seen them before, at least where I've seen them before. And that could include things that came out before or after the film's original release. It's just because I saw this movie before I saw those other things, so I've seen them before, hence the name. And this time around, we're watching, I'm going to review a movie that I've been meaning to see for quite some time, but never got around to until now, and it's a little unusual this time. This is a movie known as Hellphone. This is a French film released in 2007 by director James Huff. And as the name implies, and if you can tell by the cover here, it is about a phone from hell. Yeah, that makes a little more sense if you watch the movie. It stars, I'm going to probably butcher his name, so if you're watching, I apologize. Jean-Baptiste Monnier, who plays Sid, a high school boy in a French high school. And he's trying to impress a girl who is new to town, but as is usual in high school, your popularity is determined by what cell phone you have, and he doesn't have a cell phone, so he can't be. When she asked for his cell phone number, he can't give her one, and so he is promptly embarrassed, and so he is determined to get a cell phone so that he can at least approach this girl, whose name is Angie, on a equal basis. Remember the days when it was more than just Apple or Samsung phones that determined your popularity? There were like so many other different kinds of phones. Gosh, I miss the early 2000s. Anyway, this kid, I'm going to give you a fair warning. This movie is really weird. His first course of action is to demand his birthday money early, or within like a couple of days before his birthday, so he can immediately go to a very shady Chinese store that is kind of like the curio shop in the beginning of Gremlins, where this very bizarre Chinese guy has like very curious wares that he's trying to buy a cell phone on the cheap, and most likely illegal in those days, and he only has 30 euro, and that is not enough for a legitimate phone, but this Chinese guy actually he keeps it in a blender container, the titular Hellphone. And once he actually pays for this phone and buys this phone, he finds out that this phone actually gives him once he possesses this phone, certain things seem to happen around him, such as he gets in trouble. He commits an offense at school that would land him in serious trouble, but for some reason he doesn't get in trouble for it. Or his teacher, who was a complete jerk to him in class, gets a very bizarre, hilarious comeuppance later on, and someone who wronged him later is harmed by it, and he actually finds himself gaining certain things, and this phone knows certain things about him. He doesn't know what's going on with it, but he knows that he's getting what he wants. He's actually getting popular in school. He's actually gaining the attention of Angie, the girl he's trying to meet all this time. He's alienating his best friend, of course, but what does that matter? He's getting the girl. He's becoming popular again. He's not a loser. But as things go around, he sees that more and more extreme things happen to him. Like his boss, he works at like an American bar, like a 50s bar or whatever that specializes in fried chicken. And his boss, the phone actually dials itself to certain people who have wronged him, and bad things happen to them, such as his boss, who was a jerk to him earlier in the movie, kills himself in a very hilarious way. I will not spoil it for you. I highly recommend you seek this out if you can. This is a Region 2 disc. I had to do some chicanery to actually get it to work in the US. But if you could find it online, I had a hard time finding it online. But if you can, I highly recommend checking this out. I will not spoil how the boss meets his comeuppance, but it's hilarious. Also, a girl who makes fun of him. That one I'll spoil really quick. She gets her hair set on fire because of this phone. And eventually he finds out that this phone is in fact the literal devil. The devil is channeling his evil power through this phone, and he finds out this phone is no good. I have to get rid of it. But of course, it's the Hellphone. It's very difficult to destroy, and he has to destroy it. And so the rest of the movie revolves around him, Sid, and his best friend, and his new girlfriend, Angie, on how to destroy this phone, get rid of it before it decides to get rid of him. So, with all that being said, the reason why I'm reviewing a random French movie from 2007, because I've been meaning to see this all these years, is because I actually was on set or on location. I was walking by the location where they were filming this movie in Paris, 2006. I was in Paris, and they were filming a scene of this movie on a bridge in Paris with a really interesting looking car, a modified Shelby Cobra with teeth in the grill and very exaggerated fluted side exhaust. I thought it looked cool just because I was very interested in cars. I'm still interested in cars, and it looked really awesome at the time. And I would say this is one of those movies that I didn't appreciate it at the time, but looking back on it, it's probably one of my inspirations as to why I became interested in movie production in the first place. So I've been holding on to this notion of a movie for quite some time, but I've never seen it up until now. And let me tell you, this movie is bizarre. It's about as stupid as what you would expect from a movie called Hellphone, a phone from hell. Yeah, it's about as stupid as that, but it's also hilarious as to how silly this movie is. The director, James Huth, I think there are several shots in this that I feel like he just wanted to experiment with different ways to shoot a scene that looked weird or trying to convey a sense of something isn't quite right. And none of them land, honestly. They land in the sense that they are bizarre and they made me laugh at how weird and goofy they were. But if you was trying to get this taken seriously, I don't think it worked. But then again, this movie may have been shot as a comedy, and in that sense, it may have worked. I don't know. As a drama, it doesn't work. As a comedy, I think it does, mostly because of how serious it's taking itself. Who knows? I'm not entirely certain whether this was meant as a drama or a comedy, but I had a blast watching this film. I personally liked just random things that come up in this movie, especially because, again, it's a French film. All the dialogue is in French, and I have to rely on English subtitles. There are certain phrases that potentially don't translate very well into English, and things come up that don't necessarily translate very well, and I'm just like, what? Also, the way that certain people meet their demise is just hilarious. If you just laugh out loud at just over-the-top silly deaths in like horror movies, you'll get a kick out of this for sure. Yeah, and I was very disappointed. I cut in footage before about my from my home movies about this the scene where I witnessed them filming for this movie. I was kind of bummed that scene was not in the movie, or maybe in a deleted scene, or maybe it was just a various shot that I didn't see. But I was kind of disappointed on that front because that was literally my only memory of this movie prior to me actually seeing it. But I mean, that's just me. If someone comes into this just cold, not knowing anything besides the fact that it's a phone from hell movie, I think they'll get a kick out of this. I think all the actors are actually doing a pretty decent job. The actress who plays Angie, I think she does a really decent job. The best friend, I think, I forget his real name, but his nickname is Tiger. I think he actually does a pretty good job of acting as the best friend. His mother, she has a very, let's call it a very French scene with the main character Sid, and maybe that was just standard play in France in 2007, but I thought it was just bizarre and hilarious, especially the dialogue. So, yeah, definitely, I would highly recommend checking this out. This is a hilarious time, and maybe particularly hilarious if you had a drink or two. You didn't hear that from me, but yeah, this is a hilarious movie, and I'm glad I finally got to see it all these years later. So as far as things that this reminded me of from things that I've seen before, the main conceit of this film is the fact that a piece of technology or just some random object that someone finds that they discover is able to manipulate certain events in their favor until they which is good, until they realize that the object in question is in fact evil and more trouble than it's worth. I see that in Car, the evil twin of Kit, from the original Knight Rider series. There are 2 episodes where that he's shown or that this happens, as well as the Mask with Jim Carrey, where he also is a lovable loser trying to gain the affection of a beautiful woman, and discovers this object that grants him certain events in his favor, but he realizes that this object will bring great amount of trouble on him and affect those he loves. And not only that, but it is really only bringing out that which is deep down inside of him and doesn't necessarily reflect him, but he also finds it hard to get rid of. Those are the 2 main things of points of comparison that I saw with this movie as compared to others. I'm sure there's others out there. Those are just the 2 that came to mind. But overall, this movie's a blast. I'm glad I saw it after 14 years. Ever since I saw the part of the movie that I saw being filmed, which ended up not being in the movie. But yeah, I'm glad I watched it. If you could find that on streaming somewhere with English subtitles, definitely go check that out. But yeah, let me know what you if you have seen it before or you do see it later. Let me know what you think of this movie. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are there any other comparisons that you saw that I missed? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate whatever audience I can get. And if you liked this video or any other video on my channel, please give me a like, share, and especially subscribe. I'd very much appreciate it. Again, thank you so much for watching. But just remember, there is nothing new under the sun. And yes, you have seen it before.